each of them do? Why is this the right thing to do sometimes, or even usually the hardest thing to do?
I guess some, with them, they having to make a decision that could jeopardize their livelihood. That's when that faith comes in.
It's more or less what we, you know what I'm saying, what we see, what we're looking at right there in the present. For Javier, he was looking at his family situation, his financial situation. And then for Adam, he was looking at, just like we said earlier, he was looking at, his situation at work, how his co-workers were going to perceive him at that time. So that's why it's so easy to sometimes for us to slide over and get with the group, because sometimes, being out here by yourself is hard.
Lonely thing. And lonely.
That's right. Especially when you got to go to work every day, don't nobody want to talk to you. Don't nobody, he being a police officer, nobody want to be his partner.
Ain't nobody gonna protect you.
That's right. And they just think he got to call somebody to back up, nobody show up.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
All right, God, you're going to have to do some supernatural backup.
And then you looking at Javier's situation, he go right back into a situation where they're struggling again because the rent was coming due next month.
And his wife, he was a woman of faith, she was still in the flesh.
Stay at home.
She was stay at
Keep
home
it.
mom.
Yeah, they had like two, something like that.
One girl and a boy.
Which they were young. They were
5 or
young.
6 or something like
Yeah.
that.
So,
Which again, both of them looking at the same scenario, because both of them came from the same poverty level and the same need level, and both of them was claiming the same thing. Javier had a little bit more experience, and he got out and he was connected to some individuals that were speaking into his life, speaking around him. So she was at home, again, kind of sheltered, feeding off of what Javier was telling her, but she didn't have the personal experience of being connected to that type of scene. So again, when it come back to it, she like, baby need to eat. All I know is like, you doing good for the first time in a while. We got not just beans, we got some steak, all that other stuff. We doing good. Do you want to jeopardize that? And she even gave me a choice, like, look, if call me or don't call me, I know she was working on him hard, boy. That poor fella, he had a lot of pressure on him. Cause and the enemy know how to get you because he'll use the ones closest to you. And speaking from a man point of view, like she get uptight and mad and turn some stuff away. You like, oh Lord, I got to go home at night. So again, the enemy use whatever tools he knows is powerful to stop you.
Yeah, we stopped cooking.
I would really be honest with
Yeah, stop cooking.
you.
That's right.
Even in my situation where I went through at work, the person that was closest to me was my supervisor, because I went to him first about the issue. And really what got me to thinking about it, because I kind of like held to high regard his opinion. For him to say, well, man, you might want to think about that, because as far as your future here, you might end up being blackballed. And so, that was, one of the things, simply because I held his opinion, or I held high regard to his opinion. I kind of, took the option out, thinking that, that was the way to go. So it's real easy, for a situation, and just like you said, the devil used the person closest to you at that point. He was the closest person to me. All right. Where are we at? Okay. At the end of the scene, Dylan overhears Adam saying that he has to do what is right. How does Adam's honor act as a witness to Dylan? Dylan, his son.
This way he was listening. Okay, I got you.
So not only did he tell him that before, but now Dylan overheard him without him actually being in front of him and present. Right. So he saw him operating in what he was speaking.
And that's really the kicker right there. We
Right.
say a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. And he probably done told him stuff before that he just denied and went back on, because, like I said, they didn't have a great relationship at all.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he done made all kinds of promises
And
to the
then
boy.
because he probably told him plenty
Yeah.
times, I run with you. And
I
don't
do
never
this, I
go
do
out
that,
and
yeah.
this.
Right.
And now he's witnessing him and his character. And again, I would think it would be directly related to what has happened and, with his daughter
Oh,
and
yeah.
things like that. And thinking how it changes your perspective of things and who you hold. And when you go through tragedies and trials and tribulations, how that brings you to a closer relationship with God to the point where now he's on a mission to put God in the forefront of everything he do if he can. If at all possible, putting God in the forefront of his decisions and how he operates. And in turn, just like we always preach and talk about, when you put God first, everything else will start getting in line. So now his son has overheard him, demonstrating him, per se, putting God first in his character. And so now, versus his son just hearing him say it, he has seen him demonstrate it, and it wasn't like a show because he didn't know he would listen. So he caught him. How we talk about all the time. Let somebody catch you.
That's right.
Serving God.
You know what, Sharon and I was talking about, I'm not going to tell y'all how we ended up into this
I was
conversation.
gonna tell it.
Oh, well, go ahead on. tell
Okay, I'm
it.
gonna say, we might not wanna know how y'all started.
So what happened was, so I have a child that's spending time with my grandparents, and my dad has a habit of chewing gum and popping gum, and so my mother can't stand it. Ooh, it hurts her nerves. So my child is with my mom now. I won't call her name, but they were at Golden Corral volunteering, and she was chewing gum. And my daddy says, "Stop." So she kept chewing gum and popping. She said, my daddy goes, "Well, I told you to stop." "Well, you do it in front of grandma, and grandma asked you to stop, but you don't stop." Which was disrespectful for her to talk back. And so my husband and I was, so in a nutshell, she's being sent home early.
Mhm.
Because her and my dad kind of,
Yeah.
So she called him.
She called him out. I haven't told my mama this point yet, but
That's why I really should know, because she called him out.
and so Rich and I were talking. I said, it's interesting how we can tell children what to do, but then we don't do it ourselves. And when they call us out on it, we get upset. Instead, it should be an eye opener saying, "Okay, you know what? You're right, because you're doing basically what you saw me do." So her thought process was, "Well, you don't stop when grandma tell you to stop, so why should I stop?" That's you know how I want it.
Yeah.
And I think with those, and I think it's something Pastor Williams has said too, and something that we have to unpridefully practice. It's okay that we let our children know, because when the tables are turned, that's still an example to, okay, when I tell you need to fix something or straighten something or something's not right, then I would expect you to, number one, admit to it,
That's right.
and then number two, say, okay, let's change. And so as parents, when our children get, we human too. And so when they see us doing something they know we done told them, then we say, you know what, you're right, I need to fix that. And show them how you handle those types of situations. Versus, like you said, getting mad, getting upset. What you mad for? Why? What's the reason for getting mad? If it's right, it's right. And I tell my kids that. Because I tell sometimes Aaron does stuff that these two supposed to be doing. And I done told them quit. I said, I'm going to start getting Aaron to tell y'all what to do. I bet you straighten up then, because you got a 4-year-old telling you what's right. But if it's right, it's right. It doesn't matter if they tell her or she tells them. If it's right, it's right.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's probably one of the biggest issues that we come across as parents anyway, because we do things sometimes, and sometimes you do stuff sometimes, and then your kids see you do it. Then when they come back and do it, then you want to chastise them for it. But then after a while, you sit around and you're like, man,
You think about it.
you think about that thing, like, man, I was just doing it.
I've done it.
Don't worry, Jennifer, it's coming. Those days will come for you.
You know, and that's the wildest thing. That's why when you have children, I tell people all the time, it's like God speaks to you through your children, where He may not been able to get to you in some other way. But you start seeing your kids and you telling them what to do right. And just like you said, Nikki, you think on that thing, you're like, wait a minute, I was doing that just 24 hours ago. And then you start changing, you start thinking and being mindful, because you don't want your kids to continue down that road. And you know that's a direct relation to how we operate. Our children operate the way they either see us operate or the spirit that's in the place. And so if we got a certain kind of spirit, then they're going to pick up on that same spirit until we decide to make a change. Sometimes our children will begin to change when we change.
That's right.
Versus us just telling them.
I had one of my cousins one time. You know, he was, when we were out there in the world, this joker, I mean, he was probably one of the biggest partiers, one of the biggest drinkers. I mean, you know, he did it at a high level every time, you know what I'm saying, we did it. And, you know, even after I got saved, you know what I'm saying, every time I would see him, you know, I would talk to him, my sisters would talk to him, and the other family members that were saved would talk to him. And, you know what I'm saying, he would never budge, nothing would never ever happen. And so, this last time that I got together with him, he had gotten saved, and he began to tell us his, you know, the reason why. And he said that one day, he said he had came home one night, you know what I'm saying, from party, and he was smoking, got out of the car smoking, and he took a little butt and threw it on the ground. And he said he walked in the house, and he said, for some reason or another, something said, look out the window. He looked out the window, his little boy had picked the cigarette butt up and smoked the cigarette butt. And he said, from that point on,
Wow.
he said, I went to church. He said, I gave my life to the Lord. He said, I ain't doing nothing else. He said, because my children ain't going to do this.
Wow.
You know?
And that's odd, that's just weird and awesome and strange, all at the same time, how we could, like you said, be doing that stuff for years.
That's right.
And let us have some kids.
And that's it.
And that's it's like we
Little light bulb go off.
look like men start treating women better because they don't want no man to treat their daughter like they treating, you know, women. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And so God will definitely use your kids to change.
But there's something
your whole
about seeing
character.
little you sitting out there cutting up. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, big
You're
you
right.
doing, you know, I mean, that's a...
It's like
It ain't
God
cute
showed-
like ghetto folks be thinking like, ooh, that's so cute.
No, it ain't.
No, it ain't.
No, it ain't. When you see yourself, especially like you said, when you see yourself, it's quite good. But when you see little you, mini
Get
me,
tough.
out there doing
G-H-E-T-T-O.
the same stuff, and you see yourself. It's like you have an out of body experience. You see yourself cutting up.
That's
You're
right.
like, wait a minute, I need to check myself. 'Cause I see myself.
Amen. All right, let's move on. It says, look at the scripture, Psalms 56, verses 3 through 4, and Micah, chapter 6 and verse 8. And it says, according to Psalms 56, verses 3 through 4, where should we place our trust? How does that give us courage? How does this verse also remind us of God's ultimate authority? Go back and read that verse. It says, Psalms 56, 3 through 4 reads, it says, when I am afraid, I put my trust in you, and God, whose word I praise. In God I trust, and am not afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? That's some bold stuff right
Yeah,
there.
buddy.
That's some good stuff right there. That's some good stuff. It's just like, you know, when I said it earlier, you know, when God gives you something, man can't take it away from you. When God gives you some increase, man can't take it away from you. And also, just look at Micah 6 and 8. It says, He has shown you, O mortal, what is good and what does the Lord require of you, to act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with the Lord. for that verse. It says, Micah 6:8 is a command to act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. How are Javier and Adam adhering to that verse? For they maintain their integrity. I'll read that verse again. It says, He has shown you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. How's that? Is Javier and Adam being able to hold on to their integrity according to this scripture?
The Message Bible actually reads a lot clearer than that.
Mm-hmm.
It says, but he's already made it plain how to live, what to do, what God is looking for in men and women. It's quite simple. Do what is fair and just to your neighbor. Be compassionate and loyal in your love. And don't take yourself too seriously. Take God seriously.
So basically, you know what I'm saying, it's more or less just those vows that they took as they signed that agreement. They're pretty much, you know what I'm saying, basically holding true to those things that, you know what I'm saying, that they've agreed to. And pretty much the same thing that we should do, you know what I'm saying, every day that we go out. We know what God's plan is for us. We know, you know what I'm saying, what it is He wants us to do, you know, and you know, it's a really for me, it's been take a little chunk at a time. You know what I'm saying? Because you know God, you know we just can't get it right all together. We just not. I don't know nobody that just stopped cold turkey. You know, it was a process for you getting into the place where you was, and it's going to take time, and it's going to take, you know what I'm saying, you being able to just take a little bit by a little bit. Let me work on this area. All right, I got that right now. Let me keep going. And basically, this is what they're doing. But then, you know what I'm saying, that these guys, you know what I'm saying, they pretty much can't. The test just hit them straight in the face. I mean, you know, a hard decision straight off the bat. And you know what I'm saying, I think it was real. This was something great for them in order for God to really elevate them to, you know, to that next level, to where they were going to go, to where they needed to be, in order for them to get this one right. You know, I know He probably allowed them to make some baby steps to understand it. Yeah, I got to look at the areas where, you know what I'm saying, I'm not treating my wife right. I got to look at those areas where I'm not treating my children right. I got to look at those areas where, you know, I may be indulging in conversations that's causing me not to look godly while I'm at work. You know, or while I'm out in the community, and different things like that. But it's already laid out for us.
I think a lot too when they talk about mercy and humble and that kind of character is, you know, if you look at their mannerisms and how they dealt with the situation, it wasn't so much that they were out to, I guess for Adam, was he the police guy?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't like out to get him or get the other guy, but and he really, it wasn't a role that he I don't know what the word is, but he didn't like want to go down that road, or he didn't want to get, but he knew it was the right thing to do, but he humbly and mercifully in his attitude approached the situation. It wasn't so much that he had to go out and just get the guy, but he had a discussion with his supervisor about it and let him know it wasn't something that he wanted to do, but it was something that he had to do. Again, going back to him putting his relationship with God first, but it had a lot to do with their mannerism as they went through the whole process. And Javier, he didn't, you know, go off and like, I'm not doing that, and